You're listening to The Secret Society of Western Big Game Hunting with Dan Adler.
You know, around here, we don't just grip and grin photos or argue over our favorite gear. We keep it real. We share wins and losses. We laugh a lot. I value transparency, the real stories behind the crosshairs, because as we always say, this show is a lot about hunting and a lot about life. Whether you're listening today on a backcountry ridge, driving in your truck, or just navigating the daily grind back home, you're in good company today. So settle in, because the society is officially in session. Let's get after it. Ladies and gentlemen, today the speakeasy is graced, and I mean graced, by absolute royalty in the hunting world. If you've ever watched outdoor television, you already know their faces, their laughs, and the legendary name of their show, The Choice. For over 25 years, Ralph and Vicki haven't just survived the wild, they've survived each other, shared frozen ground blinds, freezing mountainsides, and a passion for bow hunting that literally helped build the modern hunting industry. They're the original first couple of outdoor TV, building real, raw, and often hilarious moments into our living rooms, long before social media even existed. They've traveled the globe, taken down giants, and proven that the real trophy is the adventure that you share with the people you love. It's an absolute honor to welcome the one and only Ralph and Vicki to the society. Guys, welcome to my speakeasy.
Hey,
well,
buddy.
Thanks for inviting us. And now we'll never be able to fit through any of our doors.
Hell no.
You just gave that intro. I mean, that's a lot to hook up to.
I feel like we did something.
Dang. That's not what I was.
Well, I'm so glad you're here. You know, we talked a little bit about off air how long I've known you and followed you, and same for my family. And it's just been a real honor to become your guys' friends in the last few years. And
Here,
of course,
buddy.
we had that great elk hunt this past year, Vicki, and
Yes.
talked about Taylor Swift and all those things that are really important in
Your
life,
favorite
right?
Singer. Yes. You and Andrew. Yeah. Gotcha.
Man, I wasn't there.
Yeah. Well, we missed you in that camp,
Yes.
figuratively and literally, Ralph, and we look forward to having you in the next one. We're going to have a lot more fun. I know you guys just got back from some turkey hunts and are taking a couple days before a big winter storm hits. So appreciate you guys sneaking in a little bit of your time to join us and join our listeners. We're going to have a lot of co-branding here from the perspective of a lot of your listeners. We'll get to see a little different side of you today. And then a small percentage of people, a very small percentage, will be hearing of you for the first time. So either way, I'm excited for the world to get to see Ralph and Vicki from another side. And it's an absolute pleasure to have you guys here. It's a big deal. You guys have been called America's favorite hunting couple for a long time, but I feel like the way you guys met is pretty legendary. Now, Vicki, if this is true, I heard your ex-boyfriend actually brought you into Ralph's archery shop way back when, and you were driving a 4x4 truck that caught Ralph's eye. Now, Ralph, I know you claim you took the ex elk hunting and pushed him off a cliff to get to Vicki. And that would be like the modern day equivalent of the TV show Yellowstone. If you guys watch that, you took over the train station. Yeah. So what's the real story of how you two first ended up together? And Vicki, did Ralph?
No, I didn't kill him.
Okay.
Let's be clear. I don't want to go to jail. No, I didn't kill him.
Pretty true.
But very accurate.
So I was dating a different guy, and he and his buddies, all of our friends, were shooting 3D shoots and stuff like that. And I got tired of just carrying arrows around the 3D shoots. And I said, hey, next time you guys go into Archer's Choice, I'd like to go ahead and get myself a bow. So I went in and got myself a bow. He didn't give me any kind of discount.
No, she had a boyfriend.
Whatever. But anyways, so I started shooting archery and started doing 3D shoots and shooting leagues, and it just kept rolling from there. And yes, I did have a 4x4 pickup truck. Tomboy my whole entire life, loved the outdoors, just never had the opportunity to do it growing up in the western suburbs of Chicago. So, and no one in my family hunted. So it was kind of a different thing. But then one thing led to another. He did push him off the mountain cliff. And, but then, I mean, that just kind of, do you have anything to add to that? I didn't add the whole part where
I didn't push him off. I mean,
no,
but you know, it was crazy because we're on the mountain and he shows me a picture of his new girlfriend. And I was like, you ain't dating Vicki? He said, no, we broke up. And I was like, yeah, baby. Mm-hmm.
So he moved up and ran down the mountain. And
time out. I didn't run down the mountain.
Call me.
Oh, yeah.
To see if it would be okay for him to ask
Clarify why.
To go out for dinner.
Yeah, because why?
You had your mom call me up
because your name was on the poster for my ladies only deer camp in Wisconsin. I would run 1 week out of all the season. I would run 1 week ladies only. So she put her name and number, you know what I mean? Her name, and she registered
I signed up for it
to go on it. and I didn't think it was proper, to call her from that to ask for a date. I did. So that's what, I didn't ask Bear or any of the guys working the shop. I asked Mom. So Nani called her and she said, and she jumped for joy, dropped everything and said, "Oh my God, Ralph, yes." So, I don't know if that happened, but I thought I'd feel good today.
His mom called me to ask if it was okay for him to call me to ask me out for dinner. So basically, Mom asked me if I'd go out to dinner with him.
Love it.
I'm looking up at you, Mom.
I mean, we got engaged in 1991. We've been married since 93, 33 years. So, I mean, we've been blessed. We really, truly have, and it was one thing after another. And then all of a sudden, here we are, born and raised Illinois, moved to Colorado, and absolutely love it.
Yep. And what's crazy is when you said, North America's favorite hunting couple, that title was given to us in an article by M.R. James in Bowhunter magazine, the founder of Bowhunter magazine. We met years ago, and then I introduced him to Vicki, and then, at the old ATA shows and everything,
the ammo
got to
shows,
know him. And he was so excited because we were doing it as a couple at that time. That wasn't,
there wasn't a thing.
There was nobody doing it. So he was excited. And, again, we just thought it was great that we could promote not just bow hunting, but hunting in general as, it's a family deal. You know what I mean? And you go out there with the ones you love. We sort of have a tendency as hunters are secluded people. You want to get out on the mountain. You want to get,
sit in a tree stand,
by that food plot, and you just want to sit by yourself. And then you'd come back and, if somebody was interested in your stories, you tell them. If not, you lived them yourself. But the thing is, I saw early on that if we wanted to grow the participation, if we wanted to get a better acceptance, that we had to have the women have an understanding, or the ladies or the girls have a better understanding of why it trips our trigger.
Yeah.
Then once they go out and they witness it, oh my gosh, they know exactly what it is. I mean, still, I think the women's section of hunting is one of
the women's segment of hunting it is still the fastest growing. And it's a matter of, like Ralph was saying, there's always been women hunters out there. There really has, but it's never really been out there to the point where it's like, oh, it's okay for us to. I thought it was like a guy's trip. You can't go with them and stuff like that. Well, now you see there's women hunt different hunts put together for just women and stuff like that.
Yep.
And one of the big things is it goes back to the family aspect of it. There's a lot of single family parents, a lot of single moms that, maybe they don't understand, and so we're always open to help, taking other kids out and trying to promote it. But at the same time, if mom thinks it's okay to hunt, it's easier for dad and the kids to go, or all of them to go out as a family.
The acceptance is there on an easier, plane.
Sure.
Right. And honestly, when we first started, it was all hunting VHS tapes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And seminars, and then it went to DVDs, and then all of a sudden, hey, there's this thing, and we're going to go ahead and try to be on it. We never thought we'd go on TV. Huh?
No, it wasn't.
We had
wasn't
friends
an
telling us,
aspiration.
you guys, you need to go over there. You guys need to try this. This is what you guys need to do. You guys would be great. And we're like,
the thing was, again, I'm an Italian from Chicago. I watched Fred Bear growing up, and on American Sportsman or one of those, and that's all I wanted to do, not be on TV, but to hunt.
Right.
I wanted to fling arrows. And you from there, you with the shop, with the popularity of the shop, I was very fortunate. We had all the sports athletes, and when movies were coming into Chicago, the actors were coming there. The reputation grew that if you wanted to learn bow hunting or archery, come to Archer's Choice, talk to Ralph, and then with Vicki, coming on board, it made it even easier for a lot of the women that came in. It was more comfortable, instead of them dealing with the guy, boom, they dealt with Vicki, or they've,
or mom.
with mom or Nani. And so it really helped. And we were fortunate to be at the right place at the right time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I know Vicky and I are both first generation hunters in our family. And Ralph, what was your dad or granddad a hunter?
No, sir.
What introduced you to the hunting side of it?
My uncles, my mom's brothers, they went, military and everything, and they loved hunting and fishing. And I was fortunate enough, my grandma loved hunting and fishing,
Cool.
and we would all go hunting, bring back the waterfowl or the fish or whatever, the deer, and she would just handle it all. I couldn't tell you how many dead animals and birds were on her kitchen table, and she was either plucking them or what I mean. It was just, and I loved it. I know it sounds a little crazy, but Uncle Ted, probably came up. I think it was his words, the mystical flight of the arrow.
Great quote. Love it.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I experienced that. I still have it. I
Yeah.
still have.
100%.
I'm shooting recurves. My recurves in the cave. Now I'm not hunting with them, but that's how I started with my takedowns. And I love watching that arrow. I do. I love releasing that arrow. And it's still, to me, it's not about that size of that animal. It's about that entire experience to get to that point. And then afterwards, taking care of the animal in the field and sharing it with the people you love, and maybe even the people you don't. The ones that maybe are like, well, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do this. Then you invite them over, a neighbor that maybe doesn't believe in hunting because they don't understand it. They don't realize the management facts and everything. But you invite them over, and they're eating the tacos or they're eating the chili, and you go, oh, by the way, that's elk. What?
Yeah.
This is so good. I'm not trying to get them to hunt. I'm trying to get them to understand the management, what true hunters, I mean, bottom line, every hunter out there is the most truest conservationist we have. They know what they're doing. They're paying to be there. They're paying for the experience. They're doing all this stuff. They're the ones that are generating the income that's keeping the game wardens, that's keeping the biologists, it's keeping hopefully the smart people to be in those positions to make the right decisions for the future for the kids.
Yeah. I think that's one of the not so secrets of your success, and probably one of the reasons why we developed a friendship is your authenticity. You guys are the same on this podcast as you are at a trade show booth signing autographs, as you are when you're around a campfire. You're Ralph and Vicky, and you guys show up the same way. And I think that's the highest compliment you can provide, because and I know a lot of people, when they jump on this podcast, any podcast or their TV show, they have to be so-and-so, such an identity.
Yep.
And I think, especially in the year 2026, people love authenticity. And we're talking now to an audience, but this would be the same way we'd talk if we were around a campfire. And I think people love that. And I think that's played out differently for you guys on your hunting life. And I know the longer we hunt, maybe for me, buck fever never goes away. It just changes in how it presents itself. So I guess the question for each of you is, when I love talking to my guest about this a little bit, because whether it's with clients or professional hunters, it doesn't seem to matter. I always say everybody has buck fever, some type of buck fever or bull elk fever, whatever you want to call it. But I see it play out in a few different lights. I see one where some of these guys and gals are just, they're just stone cold killers, and it doesn't seem to really rattle them as much as others. Then I see the two most common types to me are really excited when that elk or deer first starts coming into archery range, but by the time they shoot, their buck fever, and after it runs off, goes away. And then I see the opposite. They're cool as ice until that elk or deer comes in, or turkey. Then they release the arrow, and then after that, they lose their mind. Which one are each of you? It doesn't matter who goes first. And is that same enthusiasm the same as it was when you first started hunting?
Yes, it is. I can tell you that obviously the longer you watch an animal coming in, whether you're elk hunting or sitting in a tree stand for a whitetail, the longer you watch the animal also makes a difference in how much you're going to shake or not. But honestly, I am the one that I can sit there and watch, and, my heart's going to start racing a little bit, but I'm cool and calm until I release my arrow. And then my leg shakes, my body shakes, the adrenaline just drains out of me because I've been holding it in tight without even realizing that I'm doing that. But you know what I mean? And then it just starts shaking. My legs will shake, my hands will shake. It's just, and it's funny because RJ does the same thing as me. His legs just start shaking like insane crazy. Are you calm?
I'm the one that I'm building up to it. If you know what I mean, I'm pumped up. They're bugling, they're coming in. My heart's coming out of my chest. And when I release the arrow, it's like it's over.
Well, yeah, it's
You know
kind
what
of
I mean?
Adrenaline dump.
but yeah.
Dopamine dump.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
like I've said this, and I said it, oh my gosh, since the 80s. And I try to tell this to all the kids and even the people that don't understand it. There is no drug, there is no alcohol on this planet that will give you the true adrenaline rush that hunting can. Being out in the wild, experiencing that, getting your heart like it's coming out of your chest, having an animal so close that you think they hear your heart.
Right. 100%.
You know what I mean? And even if you don't execute the shot, or even if you screw it up, you see, shooting, I don't never want to make a bad hit, bad shot, but that happens. Let's be real. That happens. And we all miss. See, the people, when you're doing a TV show or you're trying to be an influencer, you just show all the great stuff.
The successes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the reality of it is that's not life. We're not a machine. I never wanted, and I hope we don't know the people that they draw back, they anchor, they shoot, it's all over. You know what I mean? Because that's not, you want that rush. You want that feeling. You want that, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to pee in my pants type of moment. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And even if it doesn't turn, like hunting, in a millisecond, you could be the highest of high.
Oh my gosh, yes.
The lowest. I mean, lowest of low.
Yeah.
I
love it.
That's the
one of the things that we've both lived, you guys for longer than me, is the transition from being a hunter for yourself. And you said it beautifully with the concept of, because I laughed when you said it, because I literally was with an elk client. He was a Navy SEAL and I'm not even joking. It's going to sound like I'm joking, but I'm not, where I actually was scared. The bull elk was about 8 yards. I'd never had my blood pressure in my ears that high, that I was 100% convinced in that moment. How bad a story is this going to be that we did everything perfect on this bull for a Navy SEAL, only to have that bull elk spook because the elk heard or felt my heartbeat? And the hunter was only 2 or 3 yards in front of me, just the way the setup was with the trees. I couldn't get away from him. Normally I try to drop back 20, 40, 60 yards, but this bull came in quicker, unexpected, et cetera, et cetera. And I literally, in that moment, I was like, oh my God. And I actually, guys, I'm not even joking. This is 15 years ago. I actually asked him. He didn't get the shot, not because of my heart rate, but it just didn't work out in that moment. Never gave us gave us a frontal, and we're not big frontal fans with an elk with the bow. And I said, I got to ask you, Jake, did you hear my heart beating? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, literally, I've never experienced in a non-military environment where I felt my heart beating that strong. I'm actually concerned you heard it or felt it. He's like, no, dude, come on. And I'm like, okay, it was just that loud in my head. So,
but that's what it's about.
That's what we do it. Yeah, I remember telling a client at a booth one time. Yeah, I had a client asking me how close, how far he needed to be able to. I think the question was something to the effect, how far out do I need to practice with my bow to be effective on an elk hunt? And of course, we had a whole conversation about, it doesn't matter how far your bow will shoot. It matters how comfortable you are at different yardages, and not just range conditions, but you got to practice holding your bow back or taking a shot from a seat if you're in a ground blind or kneeling, blah, blah, blah. But I said, ultimately, I want you to see the white of an elk's eye. And he kind of smiled at me and said, I don't think there's whites in an elk's eye. They're all brown. And I said, then he's just never been close enough. And I kind of smiled. And I was like, that's why we do it. And on that, one of the hardest things I had to do. So to me, one of the things I love about hunting is it's hard, right? And being predominantly a bow hunter, people think of my 11 seasons on the Best of the West and think I'm some long range rifle guy. No, I am a bow hunter who played a TV long range hunter, because that was the opportunity in the show. But I'm a bow hunter by trade and by heart, and probably 50% of our clients are too. And on that note, my first time going behind a camera, something you guys had done for decades before I met you, I was like, oh, this changes everything. So talk a little bit about, you guys were doing this when we were filming, you mentioned earlier, 8mm tape, and outdoor TV wasn't even cool yet. My first memories were like Jackie Bushman on TNN, things like that. Yep. Now you guys have decades of, and so many times you've had a cameraman over your shoulder. I would love to hear for each of you the balance and the pressure, like literally the balance and the pressure of getting the shot for TV, but the purity also of just being able to enjoy the hunt. And if there's been moments where you just wanted to throw the camera off a mountain, I'd love to hear about
Yes.
that too.
Yes. We'll back up.
So there's all kinds of things that we could talk about here. All kinds of them. Ralph and I, in the beginning of all of it, for the longest time, and now we've kind of gone back to it. We always filmed each other, always. Like his biggest mule deer, my biggest whitetail, all the Yukon moose that we've hunted with our bows, everything was he and I filming each other. So I know the example he's going to give you. No.
Okay.
Have something to do with a mule deer.
Go on.
Okay. Anyway,
You're on his
gentleman, Dan. I'm being a damn gentleman.
So
that don't happen much.
It's one of those things where it's like, you know, you still get the adrenaline rush, whether you're in front of the camera or you're behind the camera. Your heart races as much when you're filming as it does.
Well, especially if you're working
as
a team.
Exactly. And that's a big thing is that us working as a team, you know, filming each other all those years and doing it now again, there's just something in the tree stand. It's just awesome, you know. But even when you have other people filming you, it still needs to be a team. I know we've talked to other people who don't have that connection, and that's usually when something doesn't go 100% the right way.
Well, sure. It's also, Dan, you know, with you having the cameraman as well, you either create a relationship with your camera, you know, people, or you're pompous ass, and you treat them like they're, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And that's so wrong, because that camera person, male or female, is just as important as you, as the hunter. And you work together and you work in unison. And I mean, you do it that way. And like Vicki's saying, both people are shaking in the tree stand or the ground blind. Both people have that adrenaline rush, and both people sharing that whole entire encounter.
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, I haven't been pulled off of a whole bunch of things.
No, that's because I've filmed you and, you know, controlled the camera situation.
However, I know that I pulled Ralph off of a beautiful mule deer.
Yeah.
Like 2 nights in a row.
Not once.
But mind you, hang on.
Oh boy, let's hear about that.
Okay, but
190-inch buck, buddy.
But hang on a second.
In
my defense, it was right when you started going from your DV, you know, your little DV tape cameras to your HDV cameras to the cards.
Okay.
Your SD card.
Yeah.
So those tape cameras couldn't film last light. They just didn't. You know that. And now, you know, you got those DSLRs. You can film till you can film all night long almost if you know, wanted to, obviously not legally. But anyways, so anyways, we had switched over. We had just gotten these new cameras, and he and I are sitting in a ground blind, actually here in eastern Colorado.
Yep.
And I'm filming, and this buck just comes in, and I'm filming him. And by the time he could get the shot, it just looked dark on the viewfinder.
Yep.
And I'm like, no, we got to pass.
Oh.
We're like, okay.
Now wait, what she's not telling you, we spent 2 whole days, glassing up on a ridge, watching where this buck was coming out of the river.
I mean, we did our scouting. We definitely did. Yeah. We weren't hunting
consistent
with an outfitter. It was a trusted hunt. And, you know, I mean, we figured it out. We found him, got the blind set up, the whole 9 yards. The first night, I'm like, can't happen.
Yep.
So go back. We stay in a motel. Go back. Watch the footage on the camera. And it's dark. It is. It's just, it's not great TV footage, right?
Right.
So we're like, well, we didn't spook him. We're going to try again tonight. Do the same thing.
It was 2 days. That was on a Sunday, I think. And then on
not that you remember it vividly.
Oh yeah. On a Wednesday, here he comes. I was like, Vicki, there he is. And we put a ground blind up against the hay bales, you know, so it was really natural. And he's pushing a doe,
across the meadow,
comes out, turns, and just going like this, going right into the wind. And we're like, and she's like, no. Sorry, it's dark. Here's what I will tell you.
Right.
In this time in my life now, I don't give a damn if they tell me it's no. I'm okay. You know what I mean?
So
that was my next question. Yeah, my next question was something on the lines of, you know, if Well, not only today, but hey, let's just go. I mean, I've got a question down the road here for a blooper reel,
Okay.
but let's just go a little off script here. Are either of you willing to acknowledge, or maybe it never happened, but for the record, for the first time ever, was there ever an episode that never got to air because one of you are like, I don't care, I'm taking the shot, and you're like, you went back and reviewed the footage, like, great hunt, great memories, great trophy. This will never be an episode because we didn't have the camera angle. Did either of you ever have you done that yet, where it would have been a great episode, but you took the shot anyways?
Honestly, he didn't shoot that deer. And just to end that story, when we got back to Illinois afterwards, Freddie, the guy that was working with us at the time, he's like, dang, that's a great buck.
He
boss.
yelled, "Hey, boss
Hey,
man!"
boss man, how come he didn't shoot it?
I was like, "What?"
And then you see it on the TV and you see it on their monitors. And once they got it into the computer systems, and it was lighting up all day long.
Oh,
We got Leo sneaking in here.
Oops. Yeah. Our dog's sneaking in. Sorry.
Hi,
That's
Leo.
a really good
But-
question. Dan, I can't recall, to be honest with you.
but you're very clear on today, though.
yes.
That you would
Yeah.
today. You would.
I think back before, because now everyone wants everything in the moment. They're like, it doesn't matter if it's grainy, it doesn't matter. But back when TV, outdoor TV, it needed to be.
It had to be on
clear,
sticks. It had to do this. It
Everything had to be just perfect.
couldn't be
and
grainy.
you couldn't do it. In fact, your largest whitetail, your Kansas
Was
buck,
dark.
It was. I mean,
I still shot him.
it's still shooting time. But on the cameras back then, that was before we went to the cards, before it went to SD cards. I'm filming and I know that it's grainy and there's no way I'm pulling them off of this whitetail. It's a 188-inch whitetail,
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, then we got these new cards, and that was before we actually had TV, before we were doing our TV shows. That was before the TV shows. And, I didn't pull them off, but we were doing hunting videos back then. But then you got to the TV show side of things and it was like, no, it needs to be perfect. But now, you watch the TV shows and it doesn't have to be perfect. You can go ahead and, as long as it's still legal shooting time,
Yeah.
hunt.
Well, here's, I think, the reality. Social media, whether you like it or you don't, that might have changed things to allow people, especially all of us,
Yeah.
to say, you know what, you can use that little raw footage.
Yeah.
You can, you know what I mean? You can share that.
And people want it.
Yeah.
They
I mean,
want
today
the
they,
authenticity of it all. They don't want everything staged anymore,
Sure.
and really, I mean, we didn't have,
We never really
you would do
staged
puddle,
anything.
like you know this, you would see guys, I love this. They would have 5 hats and they would get behind their animal and go
Don't you're
and
scaring
take
people.
pictures. You know what I mean?
Like a NASCAR race.
What
Yes,
a crock
yes.
of crap that was. I mean,
or they shoot
All
an
the
animal-
different sponsors. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
or they shoot an animal and they're going to the recovery and the cameraman's behind the animal. Oh, look, I found
there
it.
it is.
No,
You-
no.
Yeah, I mean, and this is, like you said, let's be real. We know of people out there that will keep the animal hanging or keep it in the back of a pickup, travel around for hours to get that perfect shot.
Yeah.
And I'm just here to say that's wrong.
Yeah.
You take care of that animal. You
Yep.
take care of the meat. You know what I mean? Take a nice
Yeah.
photo. Always have respect for the animal. Clean the blood up. No tongue. No
Yep.
arrow sticking in it.
Mhm.
Nothing like that. But don't sit there and go, well, oh my God, I got to get the perfect sunlight. I have to do this. I have to do that. No. Be more concerned about that carcass. Be more concerned about, the field prep and taking care of the animal, because that is the trophy.
Yeah.
You know what I
Absolutely.
mean?
Yeah.
Feeding everybody and feeding the people that even don't like hunting. But doing all that is, I think, way more of the priority than that one Hollywood shot.
Well,
And-
and I also want to jump back to something that you had asked earlier also, Dan, is you had asked about like, did we ever do it where you went ahead and shot something and it would have been a great show except for that you shot it and we couldn't film it on camera or whatever. We have had, and we've still made shows out of it, camera failures.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, and this was just a couple years ago in Kansas, and it's an SD card, and the SD card got
Corrupt.
Ralph shot a beautiful buck in Kansas. he shoots the buck. They reviewed the footage right there in the tree stand. He and Eddie were looking at it. They came back to camp. You know, you always look at it like when you can, you're like, okay,
Sure.
great shot. He's down. Came back to camp, went to show, you know, Stephen and Deanna and the family there, and it won't play. And it has nothing to do with them watching in the tree stand or anything like that, but that card became corrupt.
Oh
And
my
then it
gosh.
happened on a turkey hunt too.
Yeah.
A turkey hunt too. So I mean, we still did a show and we just said, listen,
Yeah.
we have the
This is
footage.
what it is.
We have the footage of the buck coming in, you know, and then
Right.
it just didn't, you know, and then you have the recovery because everything else was there, but something happened in that moment.
But if you remember when we did air some of those like that on the show, you would get, it was just starting social media.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you would get people, oh, see, something happened. They had a bad hit. They had this. You're like, hey, people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Everybody,
I did have a coach once tell me, until you had haters, you weren't relevant. So I've learned to embrace the hate.
So we're relevant.
Oh,
High
yeah,
five,
hey,
Big
there you
Babe.
go.
Right?
Yeah.
There you go, buddy. There's your high
Yeah,
five.
you're
Yeah,
nice.
yeah,
High
yeah.
five. Yeah, we're relevant. It's good to be relevant.
It's a crock of crap. You know,
It is.
when
Yeah.
I say keyboards give guys gonads that never had them.
That's for sure.
But-
Well, I don't know if you guys are Ron White fans, the comedian, and I can't say most of his jokes, but he does talk about something that's PG for our show. You know, when it comes to keyboard warriors, he talks about the guy you're fighting with on social media, not us, because you and I don't engage in that stuff, but the guy you're fighting with on social media who's jealous of you or whatever's naked in a what does he say? Naked, sitting in a beanbag chair, naked eating Cheetos while you're actually out there getting shit done.
His mom's
Right.
house in the
Yeah,
basement.
in the basement.
And that's always made me like, yeah, you know what? You're probably right. Like we saw it the other day. I'm trying to remember. Oh, it was just a post about something hunting in general. And he actually came across as a hunter. I'll use that term loosely because literally said something to you know, sometimes we just get hate from the non-hunting and we're always going to have that.
Yeah.
But this
Always.
comment almost seemed like it was maybe literally from a guy naked in a beanbag chair eating Cheetos, drunk and naked in his mom's basement. But he came across as a hunter, and it was something about an event we're doing, or appearance we're doing. It said something about guides are literally the scum of the earth. Their businesses should be closed. And I was like, wow, that's a keyboard warrior for you. I'm like, and your page shows you as a hunter, like, you know nothing about me or my company or my family or the millions of dollars we've raised for the Second Amendment or hunting charities. But you go ahead with your Cheetos. I hope your fingers are orange, you know?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, and so before social media, you know, we used to have like a forum on our website and, you know, you had emails and stuff like that. And the hate emails that would come in to me
Yeah.
because
Crazy.
I'm a girl and I'm out hunting and it really pisses some guys off, you know, and it goes
Wow.
back to being jealous or whatever. And I'll never forget the one that came through. I don't know. Obviously the guy was, I should just be nice. Okay.
Be nice.
Obviously he doesn't realize when you email to an email address, your email is attached to it because you sent it.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
I could stay in camp and take care of the men the way the women are
Called her
supposed
some
to.
really horrible
Called
names.
me some crazy horrible names, and all because I shot a moose. And
Oh my gosh.
but yeah, so Ralph actually took that email and replied back to him.
Yeah, my first reply, I didn't send
Delete
because I was pretty pissed off. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I started to realize, you know what? Yeah, and that's what I said. I said, I think I've even addressed it, sir. I said, sir. I said, you know what's funny is and I said this earlier. I realized keyboards give guys gonads that never had them. I said, but more than anything, you're talking about my wife, the mother of my child. How would you like it if I sent you that and I called your wife that and I did this and I did, and I said this? I said, I'm just asking you, how would you like it? I said, at the end of it, I did make the statement. I said, if you are man enough, here you go. You tell me where you want to meet and it'll just be you and I.
Wow.
No, I did. But I sent it. I pressed send.
Wow.
And we got a response.
Yeah, he replied back.
And he apologized. He said he was having a bad day. And, so kudos to him. But the thing is, again, what's it? Count to 10, count to 20, count to
Yeah. 50.
If you really got a bad, attitude, count to 100.
Even
And
like
then go to your keyboard. You know what I mean? But always sit back and think, because something that maybe pissed you off or ticked you off, or hit that trigger, you may not understand the whole story. Today in this world of, crazy world of social media, so much stuff is instantaneous.
Sure.
And people thrive on that. I'll sit somewhere and we'll watch everybody at a restaurant, family, include the whole family, and they're not even talking.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I don't
Yep.
even know if they know how to communicate anymore.
Yep.
That's right.
They're missing out on so much. You remember when we would get in a vehicle and cruise from the Midwest heading out west, or I don't care, from the west heading north, or wherever it be. And
you grabbed a Hank Williams Jr. or a Chris Ledoux or a cassette tape, and you stuck it in there, and
you play the license plate game.
And you drove and you looked at everything. Now you don't look at anything but this.
Yeah.
Someone's driving and you're on your damn phones or iPads, whatever, and you're not even enjoying anything.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And I know, our world has changed, and I know, just like doing podcasts, doing all the things, doing the show, whether it's not doing YouTube or Pursuit Up or anything like that. We know people consume this stuff differently.
Sure.
But what's crazy is, Dan, and when you get on a plane to go on a hunt, and it's, a chartered plane, it's all hunters.
Yeah.
The average person is upper 40s on up.
Yep.
If you see a child or a young adult, it's with a parent.
Or a mentor that is basically paying his way.
The majority of people that have the expendable income to do what we all love to do and we're blessed to do, they still watch their TVs. They still sit in their favorite living room, in their favorite recliner, and watch at their own time, what they connect with.
Absolutely.
And we're sort of not giving the credit. I guess here's a really good one to understand. If streaming or social media was that powerful, right?
Yep.
Why is the Super Bowl still on TV?
Yeah. Good point.
That's all.
I like it.
You know what I mean? Why? Yeah.
Right.
And then honestly, what he was just saying about, it's usually someone older that has the disposable income that's taking, whether it's their own child,
grandkids,
pretty soon, or stuff like that.
Right.
But I'm going to just segue this into something else. And I don't know if we're supposed to talk about that right now, but I'm just going to say it out there now for anyways.
Do it.
Zero outfitter fees. You have that group that maybe they don't have that disposable income, but if they go ahead and they put in through zero outfitter fees, and they get that ticket, they get that license, that tag, that hunts free through zero outfitter fees.
Well, what it is, thanks to you guys,
you know what I mean?
That give someone an opportunity that may never had it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
sorry, I just segued into that. I apologize.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Because it's true.
No, I appreciate that. And that's, we wanted to make, we stole President Trump's line, make America great again, make hunting great again, and hunt more and spend less. And definitely we'll talk a little bit more about that. I do want to ask, I think this will be a fun one. And when we were setting up for this, I said, hey, I usually don't give you guys any heads up to prepare for questions. So this one will be a little off the cuff, but we'll give you grace if you need to think about it for a second. But this should be a fun one. So we talk a lot about, you guys keep it real. I shared with you my most popular episode was the one where I missed a doll sheep. I know I've watched plenty of episodes where you guys have had some follies, and that's what makes the show so great. But for our audience, what is the either funniest? You can each have your own answer here. You might need to think about it. Maybe it comes right to your mind. We talked about some of the things that have gone wrong with the camera, but just specifically the funniest, or it could also be the most disastrous behind the scenes moment you've caught on camera, where absolutely nothing went according to plan, but still ended up making great television. So Funniest or most disastrous behind the scenes moment you've caught on camera where nothing went according to plan, but still made great television. And I'd love that for each of you. It doesn't matter who goes first, but I'd love to hear that.
That's an interesting question. I mean, there's things that happen out in the field that, I mean, well, that's a good question. Because, I mean, we could talk about RJ being charged from a Cape Buffalo
Oh my gosh.
that he didn't end up getting, but Fricky had to shoot it and put it down, and that was RJ's
At
Oh
at
my
5 feet.
gosh.
Yeah, that was really crazy.
That was caught on film. Eddie, our camera guy, we were down in Africa 3 years ago.
We both, yeah.
And we were hunting with Fricky DeToy, who Ralph shot his very first Cape Buffalo with his bow down in South Africa.
93.
And then in 2014, I went down and shot my buffalo, my Cape, with Fricky also. And then so a couple of years ago, he's like, I think RJ needs to come and shoot his first buff with me also. So we went down there, and they were following. It was Fricky, RJ, Ralph, and Eddie, and Ralph and Eddie were filming. And Fricky obviously has this ginormous, huge rifle gun, point blank, backup thing. And RJ had his Hoyt. And they were walking, and the person that had owned this area had told them that there was a big bull out there, that had gotten kicked
He
out.
was kicked out of the herd, beat up.
And
You know
beat
what I mean?
up
The
badly.
young bulls destroyed.
Incredible.
They had some cameras out, and they saw that the other bulls, the younger bulls, had him on his
Yep.
back, which we didn't
No
find
way.
that out until after the charge.
Oh my gosh.
So they were out there hunting, and Aubrey and I and Fricky's daughter Jante, we were, hundreds and hundreds yards away, because they're like, ladies, you don't get to go. It's like, okay, whatever.
Well, just,
It's
Wow.
safety.
You know
It's
that.
safety, and so they were walking, and they had seen it, and then they couldn't see it anymore. And Fricky went past this one bush, and you watch it on camera. You watch Fricky go by. RJ's right behind Fricky. Eddie is standing behind, kind of to the side of RJ, and Ralph is just right next to Eddie. And as soon as Fricky passes this bush, RJ, and you see this buffalo coming up out of
RJ yells, Fricky, Fricky.
Fricky, and this buffalo comes charging out of this brush that they didn't even see. Fricky,
We thought he was way to the, to the ones to the right of us. Yeah, we were
yeah,
wrong.
and then so Fricky turns and spins, and as he spins, it's going past him towards RJ. Basically, at this point, RJ and Ralph almost tripped over each other and almost fell. Eddie is stuck in one of them bushes, one of those trees with the thorns, and this buffalo's coming at him. And Fricky, his first shot hit the side of the buff's head, which spun
Oh my
the buffalo
gosh.
around to him, and he nailed it here at
Second
about
shot was
second
right there.
shot right in the middle of the skull,
5 feet.
5 feet, and dropped him.
What?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. It's all on film.
It's on film. So
Oh my gosh.
Aubrey, Jante, and I are, like I said, we're
They still hear the shot.
600 yards away, half mile away or so.
Yeah.
And I hear the two boom, boom. And I might have said a couple words that I won't repeat right now. And I looked at Jante and I go, it just charged them. She goes,
No way.
yes. Yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because RJ's hunting with a bow. We should not have
Oh,
heard
yeah,
that
yeah.
noise, So we're just sitting there waiting. And then finally, they calm down enough, and I'm just glassing, and then I can see legs walking, and I can see Ralph drive, come on in, and it's laying dead right there. And actually, as we were walking in, it moaned or it moved or something, and all of a sudden Fricky doesn't play, boom, and a second one right there, and it just, yeah, no, that was a kind of a crazy hunt. That, yeah,
It still made a great episode. Yeah.
it made an amazing episode,
That's intense.
Yeah. What other ones you got?
I remember one, I went to Alaska. Dr. Chris just got done working on my knee. So I had this giant brace. Remember that?
Oh gosh,
But
yeah.
it was scheduled, and I didn't want to let Wade down, right? Because we went Renfro's Alaskan Adventures. We hunt up there, and
He had an ACL replacement is what happened. And
Okay.
a meniscus. But it was
So-
like 3 or 4 months before that, the
3
surgery.
months. Yeah.
Yeah.
something, yeah.
All right, go ahead. Sorry.
No, so we just we were hunting hard. It was pretty tough with the with the leg. Well, I fell into a sinkhole with my left leg, and I literally went all the way down to my crotch, because the sinkhole, you just go all the way in, and I bent my right leg, and the swelling got so it swelled up so quick that we couldn't get the brace off. I mean, it was crazy.
Oh my gosh.
You know, it's like a balloon being restricted but it starts popping out wherever the restriction wasn't. So we hurried up. I got up, and I knew we were in a little bad situation, and I ended up we dug up a lot of moss, and I kept my leg for a day, couldn't move it. It was so tight we couldn't get the brace off. So we ended up putting the moss and trying to get the swelling down. So
Holy cow.
Yeah,
I wasn't on that trip.
Yeah, it took like 2 days, but we finally got the swelling down to get it down. And I didn't shoot a bear. I didn't shoot a brown bear. But we actually was crazy. Like one of the last days, we had one come right through camp.
Oh.
And it was, I could have took the gun out and shot him, but I was, I was hunting with my bow, and I was like, yeah, he deserves it. He deserves to live. Maybe
that was his victory parade.
Yeah, huh? Yeah. But yeah, I remember that just because of what we had to do, you know, and just like you and the people listening, you go through trials and tribulations, man, and
I mean, we could even discuss our sheep hunt. Well, RJ was 3 years old at the time, and I'm pretty sure at that moment I thought he was going to be an orphan.
Oh,
yeah, we went on a doll sheep hunt up in the Wrangles with our bow.
Okay, wow.
Not very conducive for bow hunting in the
Right.
Wrangles. It's smaller rocks, it's shale, it slides, it's the whole 9 yards. And we hunted for 10 days straight with our bows.
Yeah.
And we did bring a single shot 280 because that's what bow hunters do, right? You don't bring a gun where you
Stupid
just keep
dummy
bang,
bow
bang, bang,
hunters.
bang. Yeah, stupid bow hunters. Anyways, on the last day of the hunt, the outfitter flew in his cub and said, "Listen, put down your stick and strings.
Yeah, stupid stick and string.
Take the gun out." So we've seen every day, we would see 2 mature legal rams hanging together.
Okay.
The closest we ever got was 200 yards. It
Yep.
was not
We
happening.
hiked up, we stuck our heels in, laid down on the ground. You know what I mean? We had a little boulder, a couple boulders,
Yep.
and we would literally sit here all day, you know, just looking to see if they'd start feeding around, you know, where you could at least get a more ethical shot, you know, with your bow. But it never happened.
It never happened. So on the 11th day, because there was wildfires up there, forest fires up there,
crazy.
and we couldn't get out anyways. I mean, we rode horse, 3 or 4 hours from his
6 hours.
6 hours from the main camp, but there were no flights flying out of there because of the smoke. So he go out there and get it. You guys can't go home anyways. So we took the rifle and I was following him. We had 2 guides and a wrangler, and then Ralph and then myself, and we started going up the mountain, up the shale. And then we went up a waterfall, and then we went up a spider chute where you basically, you know, if you put your foot down, you're sliding down, you're using your hands. I had a camera on my back. He's got the rifle on his back. It was like, there's no footage of any of us going. There's a little bit of us like going up a waterfall but not the spider chute because we couldn't. And then we got to the point where the rocks are just falling down on both of us. And he's like, "Vicki," he goes, "You need to get ahead of me. Let me take the last rocks." And I'm like, that ain't how this works, you know, but we switched out. And so then it was the 2 guides, the wrangler, myself, and Ralph. And then we got to this one little cliff, and they climbed up. I climbed up. There's nothing else left to grab onto. I mean, we're rock climbing is what we're doing. I get up on there and I'm looking down at him. And mind you, in 1980, he broke his neck. Okay. So sometimes the movement isn't the greatest and it can just, you know, inflammation and stuff. And I'm looking at him and there's nothing for him to grab. And I'm holding on to a boulder that's sticking out and giving him my foot. And I'm like, "Grab my foot." Because I seriously thought that he and I were going to die right there. And RJ was going to be an orphan. It was,
oh my gosh.
It was such a crazy experience. He gets up there, we get up, and our guide, Brian, he's like, "There they are." We're like, "Okay." And halfway up this 3-hour, 4-hour walk, he turned around and he looks at us. He goes, "We should have never came up this way.
No way.
This was a mistake. The only way for us to get down at this point is to get up and go back down. Please just be careful." And we're like,
Oh my gosh.
"Oh, hell." So we
Yeah.
did finally get to the top.
Yep.
And we spotted, and he's like, there they are. And I'm filming, and Ralph gets down, puts his backpack down, puts that 280 down,
Crawled
and
right up over the
Yep.
little ledge.
just over it. Both of those rams are standing there side by side. Brian tells him which one to shoot, and we've heard horror stories and the whole 9 yards. And Ralph takes a shot, 244 yards,
244.
shoots it. It's bow hunter, it's a single shot
Right on the crease.
right there. You see the red, you see him run, and boom, 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 boom.
Wow.
He's all excited. We're all excited. Giving Brian a hug. Brian can't breathe now because Ralph is like squeezing him so tight because we did it. We got a sheep down, And Brian's like, Vicky, the other one's right there. Come on, down on the gun. And I was like, oh, never stopped recording. Gave the camera to Ralph. I lay down on the same pack, get my gun in there. My sheep goes running. He goes into the shade. He comes back out. He goes up into the sunshine.
Standing right in the sun. I'll never forget.
4 yards off.
It was the same yardage.
Single shot.
But he came towards us
Yeah.
when we shot, and then he worked his way right back up. And we're like,
No way.
and Brian's like, Vicky, take
Meant to be.
So she gets on him. Boom. She pins him. He goes down the mountain. And I mean,
way.
It was the craziest thing. And,
And then we all started hooting and hollering.
Yeah.
All five
Yeah.
on top of the mountain, just screaming because we finally did it.
and that show is what triggered us. We were very thankful that we realized we had a platform.
Yeah.
In archers, but because some people were pissed off at us because Archer's Choice, that we took a gun and shot the sheep. But, you know what I mean?
Shame on
And
us.
we realized that
The keyboard warriors.
Yes. Oh,
I mean, you're talking about, this is before action cameras. This is all,
Right.
What year was it?
Yeah.
2004.
2004.
So
Mhm.
we do all this, we air it, and you get the feedback. And it was like, you know what? If we can help make a difference, that everybody knows us as bow hunters. But
Right.
if we turn around and say, listen, stop. It doesn't matter what you shoot. If it's legal in your state, province, or country, shut up.
Yeah.
It may not be the weapon of your choice. That's
Yeah.
why we started the choice.
It
It
was
may not be
that
the
hunt.
weapon of your choice,
Right.
but that's okay.
Don't belittle
Yeah.
people because
Don't-
they decided to use
yeah.
a different weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's just look at one thing in our world and society right now. The only thing that wins is numbers. Numbers create power. Power you know what I mean?
Sure.
And when you have this, instead of us being cannibalistic to our own and destroying each other, we just need to embrace each other. And if you don't want to shoot a crossbow, or if you don't want to shoot a compound, or if you don't want to
Right.
shoot an inline muzzleloader,
It's your choice.
It's your
Just stop.
choice.
you know what I mean? And just say, listen, we're all in this together. Because
Yeah.
if we stay together, if we unify, if we unite, they can't.
It'll all be all right.
Can't take
Yeah.
it away.
My brain goes to, whoever that was, we'll say his name was Jim. Jim, I appreciate your email, and yeah, you're right. We're archers. That's our choice. And in this particular instance, after 10 days of sheep hunting, and then the weather rolled in, and God gave us another opportunity to go back up the mountain with our bows. And even after that, it didn't come together, and we never could get within 200 yards. So yeah, on day whatever, we picked up a rifle, and that was also our choice. Now, here you go, Jim. Here's what I want to do, because you reached out to us. Obviously, this is important to you. I'd love to hear your story of your 12-day sheep hunt in the Wrangles. I'd love for you to go up there for 10 days with your bow and go do it. We're genuinely cheering for you, and send us that picture of your big ram with your bow. I'd love to see that. And I'd love for you to have that moment so you can appreciate the experience that we had together. It's just, I can almost guarantee you, having never heard that story now, that the guy that sent that has never sheep hunted the Wrangles for a doll. You can just almost tell it by the energy. That's amazing. Who's the most patient of you two?
Me.
Agree, Ralph?
Yeah, 1,000%.
And who's the most competitive?
You know what?
I'm
I
like,
would say Vicky, and I'll just
Yeah.
tell you why. I'm at a point in my life, I really don't give a damn. No, you know what I mean? I've always
Sure.
wanted her to have the first opportunity. I always wanted, you know what I mean? I always wanted her just because everybody back then, you know, sees guys hunting. And
Yeah.
it will, you know, it was more important that we have Vicki be successful to just be, we wanted more women to participate, you know, and
we've always tormented each other.
oh my
We've
God.
always tormented
Right.
each other.
You know
But
that,
it
Dan. I mean, we ain't.
Sure.
it's a love competition, you know. I mean, I used to. I don't do it too much more. So this is just gonna prove his point that I am the more competitive one. When people would say, "Oh, well, who has the biggest?"
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Who has
Sure.
the biggest whitetail?
Me.
Sure.
Who has the biggest
Elk.
Me.
Who has the most? Me.
Ah,
You know what I mean?
interesting.
Who has the widest Yukon moose?
Why? No one gives a damn about why.
They do. They
No.
do. They don't care about points on a Yukon moose. They want to know the weight. They don't care what you got, what you scored. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
She's
But
kind of right.
he does have the
She's
biggest.
right, I know.
He does have the biggest mule deer.
Yep.
Okay.
Biggest muskox.
Caribou. I have the biggest caribou.
Do you though?
Yep, I do.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, but
I have the biggest sheep.
you do. Your sheep are bigger
Yeah,
than mine.
yep.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I have the biggest brown bear.
Yeah.
I have the biggest.
Okay.
white bear.
So this
Yeah,
could go
there you
on
go.
forever.
No, it's amazing. I love it.
I don't
So,
have the biggest brown bear.
No,
I lied. I'm sorry. I
no,
lied. I don't have the biggest
no.
brown bear. I take that back. I apologize.
oh, I love it. Keep going by all means. Anything else we haven't covered? Longest long beard?
She has the biggest black bear, but I
Okay.
have the most bigger bears.
Okay.
No,
Yeah, I
I
do.
have more bigger black bears than you
No,
do.
you don't.
Yes, I do. I do. I do. I have a
Yeah, so there's no competition, Dan. There's
Right.
done. There's none at all. No.
So one of the questions I asked you guys was about who's more patient. And so one of the things that I enjoy as a Western big game hunter and guide is the rare opportunity I get to go back to the Midwest to hunt with some of my friends and outfitter partners. In fact, this year we were both in Illinois at the same, or this past hunting season, I guess we were both in Illinois at the same time. And I was sending you some texts back and forth about the weather and the winds and how I was getting my, hindquarters handed to me. And I know you guys were too. And if I remember right, Vic still ended up getting a buck. And, because you were originally in Illinois before you moved out west, and we're going to talk a little bit momentarily here about that transition out west, so I don't want to lead too much into that piece of it. But on the question of the patience, one of the things I know and always thought was really cool about living in Midwest, whether it's Kansas, Illinois, whatever the case may be, is these long archery seasons, right? So if you have a 100-day season, let's say, and the weather's not great, guys are going to go hunting in the morning and guys and gals are going to come back for lunch and stay out in the evening. But when I go back hunting, I always try to, be there those first 10 days of November or whatever I can. And I'm going to do those all day sits because I only have that 10-day window. I don't live there. I don't have that 100-day season. So I'm going to do those all day sits. When I asked about most patient, when you guys look back on your hunting journey, when you started and when you are now, who's most likely to say, let's just sit in this ground blind tree stand all day? Or, hey, let's go down for brunch or lunch? Or do you guys have a predetermined path in advance already? Like who's I talked about more patient, like who's more likely to say, let's stick it out another hour? Who's more likely to want to come back and why?
I think I'm a little bit more, let's hang out more here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I always have snacks, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's always, well, okay, we'll give it another 20 or 30. And I'm like, yeah, and if 30 comes up and I'm the one, it's a little wait.
Well, I think it also depends on like what the weather's doing.
And the activity.
Sure.
The activity. I mean, if you're hunting whitetails and then it's 90 degrees in October, there's no reason to sit out in the middle of the day because they're not going to move.
No, I
Yeah.
mean, it's understanding game movement. You know what I mean? That comes in for all of us, the years of experience doing it.
It's elk in New Mexico when it's 90 degrees
Yeah.
outside and the elk
Right.
go all night long and then they disappear.
You got an hour in the
Yeah.
morning and an hour in the evening if you're lucky, and that's it.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
you could keep hiking, you could do everything you want, but what are you doing? You're contaminating the area. You're screwing up more of your chances. Like Rick, a friend of ours that we hunt in Wyoming, we've hunted together for years. He goes, and it was so true. I mean, my gosh, I sat there and go, oh my gosh. He goes, we were into elk. We're into elk.
Yep.
And we're talking about, going up this valley and going, and like, he goes, why should we leave elk when we're into elk?
Right.
Why go look for elk when you have elk?
Don't leave elk to look for elk.
Yeah.
It does make
and
sense.
Amen.
Oh my gosh. How smart is that?
Yeah.
Hey, but you know how it is. You want to get and go, and you want to do this, you want to do that. And I think through all of this, as we get older, that statement, like work smarter, not harder,
Yeah.
hunt smarter, not harder,
Mhm.
comes
Yeah.
into play.
It actually torments me as an outfitter and even on my own personal hunts. And I mean torments literally if I'm like, okay, I'm camped here and today I want to go check out whatever mountain and it's a 25-minute drive and I leave camp at 3:30 in the morning. My brain literally cannot stop thinking about how many elk am I driving by right now in the dark to go to my elk spot. Like I know there's elk between here and there. And there's been times where I stop and roll the window down for 5 minutes, shut the car off, have a couple sips of coffee and listen if one of my bugling bulls is in that neighborhood, or a bull that I didn't know was in the neighborhood comes out in front of me in the headlights. And that's like, okay, and he doesn't push off too bad. I might pull over and give it 20 minutes, see if he's still nearby and change gears and go hunt him. So that's a thing. Like, don't drive by elk, don't drive by deer, don't drive by turkey to go hunt turkey, and smarter, not harder. I mean, they're literally right there saying, here I am, right? It's almost like a biblical sign to stay right there.
Yeah.
You guys are now transplants. I think you've been out here long enough to be considered Westerners. What is, and it's a completely different beast, right? From going to the Midwest to hunting out West. What's the biggest culture shock or the hardest lesson you guys learned when you transitioned from Midwestern tree stands to Western spot and stalk big game hunting?
All right. First thing I could tell you is the shortness of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a whole eye-opening experience.
Yes.
Like deer season would come in October 1st and go to January 15th. Okay. And
Yeah.
we didn't have to apply for tag.
They were over the
You
counter.
bought them over the counter. So that, and trying to understand, and thanks to you guys, is you're coming from the Midwest. You don't have a freaking clue how to apply for these tags, when to apply, you know what I mean, and all of this stuff. So you try to, and Vicki has always been the one to do, get going with that. And I'm going to just tell you straight out, simple for anyone listening. Call Dan up, call up the team, just because, and just say,
you guys
do
have
it.
saved my time.
Yeah, just do it. You tell them what you want to hunt.
Yes.
And let them do it. And this ain't no damn commercial. This is nothing. This is telling you from Midwest people, it's a pain in the you-know-what, and you're going to screw it up. And then you're going to get aggravated. And if you would just call them and let's say, listen, I want elk. I want to try to start applying for sheep. I want to do goats. Whatever it is, just do it. Don't think, you know what, I can do this, because you're going to try it like we did. And the next thing you know, oh, damn it, we missed a deadline. Or what are reference points? What the hell is that? And and now the states, it's funny, some of the states are raising the dollars. You know what I mean? Oh, well, we're going to bump this up. So the next thing you know, here's the reality. Here's the shock for people coming from the east and coming out west. One, you are going to try to do this yourself. You're going to spend a whole hell of a lot of money
in time
and realize that it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. Call them up and say, listen, here's what I want to hunt, and let them handle it, because it is. And it's frustrating, coming from the Midwest, making that transition.
I also think, though, making that transition from Midwest at like 900 feet in elevation.
Sure.
So we're sitting right now, which is at 7,600 feet in elevation. There's a bit of a change for that too.
Oh yeah. And the hunting style. I mean, you can truly take your whitetail knowledge and mentality and apply it to hunting out west. Good example. Early season. What are the elk doing, Dan? They want water. Well, try to check out your prevailing winds.
Find a water hole.
Yep. Either put your ground blind or get in a tree stand. Do that stuff.
Yep.
I shot a great bull on our own property last year.
Yep.
Because we talked about it. You know what I mean? And we set everything up with the water hole and did everything we possibly could. boom, I never thought that would happen. But we used our whitetail tactics and knowledge to make, to put a beautiful bull down. And you could do the same thing with mule deer and all of that. If you don't, and you want to do your spot and stalk, here's the first thing I would tell anybody: instead of jumping and just coming out west for your first time, spotting and stalking mule deer or doing something like that, you may think I'm crazy, Dan, or some people may. Spend a few $100 and go down to Florida or something and hog hunt.
Yeah.
Hog hunt with a spot and stalk.
Yep.
If you've never spot and stalk, do something prior to coming out west, spending, the money, and the other thing too is, all the expense and the tags, and do something that most people hog hunt, but spot and stalk them.
Because then you still have to figure out the wind. You have to watch your noise. Their noses are really, they may not have the greatest eyesight, but their noses and their ears are top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can spot and stalk and get up on a hog, I mean, you're not doing mountains or anything, but it is going to help you out. Just getting that spot and stalk experience in before you come out west and spend all that money.
And don't follow the internet. Don't think you have to go get a gym, a subscription to join a gym. Just slowly get out, start walking. Try to walk some inclines and declines. Try to, strengthen the ankles, you know what I mean, and the knees and the hips, and just take your time. And anything you do prior to it, like, I know this is, but proper planning prevents piss poor performance. The 5 P's of life. If you talk to you guys, talk to your outfitters, and don't be afraid to call them up or send them an email now, or or even a text, and say, listen, I understand, you guys are at 6,000 feet. What can I expect?
Yeah.
You can answer that better than we can, as far as, but there's certain questions that can really help you. And I'm going to tell you, if they're good outfitters, they're going to turn around and say, listen, you don't have to be jogging. Just put a pack on. Please just start walking, after work. You just do something like that. And it's going to sound crazy. If you're in the city, walk up and down on the curbs. And what I'm saying by that is you get those ankles so they're adjusting to the off angle soil. But making that transition, if you've never done it, can be tough, can be frustrating to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And
I found too, flipping that a little bit for our viewers and listeners that are out west and have never hunted the Midwest. I've had you guys tell me, like, well, I've hunted the West my whole life in the big mountains. Why would I ever go sit in a tree stand? You know what? If you want to go match wits with a 5.5-year-old, 6.5-year-old, 7.5-year-old deer with a bow in a tree stand in Illinois, in Kentucky, in Indiana, you are actually going to become such a better hunter out west, because you've gone to have that experience. Plus, it's a totally different experience, in the knowledge and skills you'll take, and the patience, and you'll see the different mindsets of the Midwestern hunter, and how your experience in the West might help you, or their experience in the Midwest sharing with you, help you get a bigger deer. So I do think there's a little bit of side, but that's great advice, especially if you're stuck in a city somewhere, do the curbs, go up and down the steps, get those ankles, get those muscles you don't normally engage. And then I've often found that the guys who are like, well, I'm in low elevation place. Well, you can still walk 6 miles. If you're walking 3 or 4 miles, that may not be the same 3 or 4 miles at 7,600 feet, but the more you start walking there, the longer you're still going to get those lungs. You're still going to have that better performance. And some hunters do come out west 2 or 3 days early and like go to the Grand Canyon, get some elevation, walking around the hills of Flagstaff, whatever the case may be, just to get 2 or 3 days up in the woods. And I think that's a lot of fun and really helpful to do that. You mentioned a little bit about, and I thank you for the way you said it, about zero outfitter fees and the draws being confusing and hunts being expensive. It's been rewarding to see too that even my most affluent hunters, people that could afford to hunt, wanted to join the zero outfitter fees program too. But one of my favorite stories with you, I think it was you, Ralph. It may have been RJ, but the first time I was explaining it to you guys was 2 or 3 years ago in Atlanta, and you're like, okay, this is great because the applications process is so intimidating to people, and it keeps a lot of people out of the game. They either think they can't draw or they don't even want to mess with it. And you're like, okay, so I just want to understand. So I think it was $997 at the time. Now it's $1197 a year. Like $1197 a year, you're going to do all my applications, and I never have to think about it in any of the 50 states, but the Arizona, New Mexico, Wyoming, Utah, Nevada, the ones where you guys have the master guides, you're going to do all of our apps in all 50 states. I go, yeah. And they're like, that's perfect. That's a great value. And I said, but are you understanding also that the Arizona, New Mexico, Wyoming, Utah, Nevada hunts you don't have to pay for? Like, that's the zero outfitter fee. He's like, no. I understand you still pay the outfitter, but then for $11.97 you do all my apps. And I'm like, no. That is the zero outfitter fees. That's all of it. And it was either you or RJ put your hand on my shoulder. I think it was you. And you're like, you shouldn't be doing that. Like, that's a mistake. I don't think that's the
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? It almost starts sounding like something's
There's
up.
something
You know
Totally.
what I mean?
This is a scam. It's too good to be true. We get it all the time. Totally.
This ain't right, or
That's
it's a
right.
car sales pitch, or you know what I mean, it's
100%.
like, wait, here it is. We're here.
Yeah.
We're on this with you. One, we're honored and truthfully blessed to call you friends. I mean,
Thank you.
That you and
Yes.
Terry, but more than anything is today it's about opportunity. Okay?
Yeah.
You look for places to go. You want to make sure, number one, that they're legitimate. Boy, I'm
Mhm.
telling you, there's so many outfitters out there that are not. Please
Right.
do your homework, do your
Yes.
research.
Amen.
And instead
Amen.
of doing all that by yourself, talk to Dan. This is why we said it. But the other thing too is when you sit down and figure it out, let's talk about right now a Western hunt, and you know better than I. Am I right with saying the average elk hunt 10 to 12 across
And
the board?
up.
Is that
Yeah. And up.
And up.
and up? Oh yeah, and up.
And up.
Okay,
Yeah.
and probably in some areas maybe a little lower, but the reality of it is at least that. Okay,
Yeah, for sure.
so let's say you come in and you don't draw anything in the 5 states for 4 years. For 4 years. 5th year, you draw one. You are already you are
You're ahead.
already so much ahead. You know what I mean? You are so
Totally.
much ahead, and that's how RJ, when you first were telling us this, you're looking at it and go, wait a minute, wait. So if we draw in Nevada, you're telling me the hunt's paid for?
Yep.
You were like, yeah, Ralph, but I'm it's an Italian head,
Of
it's
course.
thick, and I'm like, that don't make sense to me. And again,
Right.
I don't want this to come off like it's a sales pitch. It's
No.
Right.
what we are trying to do is like we've always tried to do. We're very authentic. We're very real. We'll tell you when we screw up. And we'll tell you, and we always give glory to God. But the big thing is we want as many people to have a great opportunity. And
Yep.
if you can't afford to do a trip like this every year, this is your opportunity. This is your chance.
Yep.
Yeah, you're going to put in, and you may not draw for a couple years, but just alone, if you draw on year 4, and you said 11 something, so let's just say you have $4,500 invested in those 4 years, and you draw. Oh, and by the way, you don't pay for your hunt, which was $15,000.
Right.
So you saved $11,000 on your
It's a big deal.
and they made it a reality.
And I
That's
also
huge.
remember, Dan, you also, as you were telling us this the first time, and we're like,
Right.
and, I mean, I like my coffee. I like my coffee at home. But when we're on the road, you go and buy coffee. And there's a lot of people that when they're going back and forth to work or whatever, you swing into one of those bougie coffee spots, and you go ahead and you get a cup of coffee. And what's it cost? $9, $10, because by the time you get what
Right.
you want, and you put it in those terms, you're like, okay, so you give up a cup of coffee a day and you could have this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that simple.
Yeah.
Period.
I love it.
We've just got to understand that again, some people may think, I don't get it. This is there's a scam, there's a gimmick, and
Absolutely.
and the reality of it is it's a great opportunity for you to live out your hunting dreams, your goals, your aspirations, and it doesn't cost you your house mortgage. You know what I
Right.
mean? I mean
Absolutely.
Well,
right.
and an elk hunt is expensive, but
Yes.
then you also have those
And it ain't
people,
going to get cheaper.
no,
Right.
it's not gonna get cheaper. But then you also have those people that, maybe they're sitting somewhere and they're like, man, it'd be so cool to go sheep hunting.
Yeah.
Like, but I could never do a sheep hunt because there's just no way.
Yeah.
I just know that I could never afford a sheep hunt. But
Yeah.
again, if you draw
If
it
you draw
in one
that
of those 5
tag.
states, you're paying for your zero outfitters fee, but then you're paying for just your tag and that sheep hunt. I mean, dang,
And your expense to go. That's it.
And
Right.
sheep hunts are
Let's be honest. What do
expensive.
they start at? 75, 80,000, 60, 70, 80,000, right?
Absolutely. If you were going to buy one from us to go to Sonora or go up to Alberta, you're in 80 to 110 really, really fast. And then, people talk about, well, it's impossible to draw or whatever. You guys all know Terry, my wife,
Yeah,
drew a
look at
desert
her.
bighorn sheep tag last year with 6 points or less. And, people say, well, it takes 30, 40 years. And that's part of the myths we try to bust with what we're doing with your outfitter fees. I appreciate your guys' alliance on that. And we do just really want to serve more people at a higher level. I want to wrap up with some fun questions for you guys. And so this one is kind of fun. So think about this. If you could go, we all know we're all going to live to 100, 110, and we're going to go out hunting. If the two of you specifically knew that this was your retirement hunt, you were 99, 105 years old. This is going to be your last hunt ever. After this, you're retiring from hunting. No cameras, no sponsors, no TV crew, just the two of you. From both of you, I'd love to hear where you're going. What are you hunting? Who's the one shooter? And on the drive to camp from Colorado, what music are you listening to? So this is your retirement hunt. No crews, just the two of you. Where are you going? What are you hunting? Who's the shooter? And what music are you listening to?
Okay. Ready?
Ready.
We are, this is my opinion. It's the last hunt. It is, which would be a really long drive, but it would
Anywhere
be
in the world.
Yukon moose,
Mm-hmm.
because we've had so many great memories up hunting Yukon moose together. I would say Ralph is the shooter. Mhm.
That's love.
And the music we're listening to is, he would probably keep turning, because he likes to turn the radio down. It's definitely not Taylor Swift. I can promise you that.
I'll tell you what it is.
Sorry, Andrew, if you're listening.
I'll tell you what it is right now.
Hit me.
It's Kid Rock, Till You Can't.
Love
Have
it.
you heard it?
Yeah. You did a take on it. Yeah.
Yep.
He did a
Yep.
take on it. I don't know who the original artist was, but he did a take on it, and I heard it for the first time, and the words just got in my soul.
So
Just
did
got in
you,
my-
It's a great song.
you have a retirement hunt now that I just gave you mine?
Yukon is probably
I knew it.
Yukon probably, and the reason being is because both of us we love that country. We love the
The
pure
wall tents,
pure
yeah.
wilderness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't get any wilder. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You sit on that river, you float the river, and you're calling, or on a lake, or up on a mountain. It's just like elk hunting, but it's at 1,000 pounds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yes, sir.
Our bows.
their eyesight is nowhere near as acute as an elk. Not saying that, but their hearing, their sense of smell is. But like we've always said, moose don't take a trail, they make one.
Love it.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And in that country with the grizzly, to me, for those who have never seen a grizzly in the wild, I've always said, when you see your first grizzly, it's an aura around them.
100%. So well
Right?
said.
Dan,
Oh my gosh.
it's such a
Magical.
majestic animal, and you just feel the power, the force. And and you're in that country. You're walking along a riverbank, and your foot goes over a grizzly print. You know what I mean?
Oh my.
In the
Yeah.
distance, you hear whoa,
So you
Whoa.
forget about the bear.
and you're like, oh,
Totally.
damn! First thing I'm doing is my scent bottle, hitting it to make sure the wind's right. And next thing is, you forget the grizzly. Totally. I'm in that country. I don't even care about it, to be honest. I
Don't
mean,
even
when
think
I say
about it.
that, the fear is not there. You know what I mean? I'm still being attentive of what's going on, but the fear of a grizzly is not going to interfere with my hunt, if that makes sense. And I wanted
Right.
you hear that rack hit
Yep.
hit a limb.
Oh man.
And then all of a sudden you hear it closer. Whoa. And you're like, oh
My heart's actually going up. My heart rate's going up just hearing you talk about it.
yeah.
Because I can picture it so easily.
Yeah.
You guys are painting such a great picture of it.
And you can smell them.
Oh, yeah.
Like we would be going down, you just kind of float down the river and you get a whiff of one of them bull pits or the moose himself, the bull himself. And everyone's quiet and looking at each other like
Yeah.
which way is the wind blowing? Let's hurry up. Let's get off. Quiet on the shore. Let's just see what we can do. And that's just,
Dan,
that's just
in the 80s and 90s, we were blessed to, well, I was blessed in the 80s, to go experience that in a canoe in Ontario.
Amazing.
Canada, okay. And I'm in a canoe and we're paddling and you're trying to be quiet. And I mean, you're calling from the canoe. And then Vicki, you started going with Fern, the same thing. You paddle in and it just, oh my gosh. I don't know if it brings back the history.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because when you think of old epic hunts, you think of guys in wool flannel, right? High boots. There were no rubber boots. They were leather boots. Yeah. And they had this birch bark call that I still have some.
Mm-hmm.
And you just get in the middle of the bush and you rip out, cow call, you're bellowing. And the next thing you know, you hear that. And oh my goodness. It's just, and it don't have to be, it doesn't have to be a 70-inch bull.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the only thing is, I think you're right with the Yukon,
and the moose
and the whole northwestern, or I should say just northern.
Yep.
Landscape.
And who's the shooter, Ralph?
I have no problem her shooting me filming. Oh no, I can't film.
We're
That's
not
right.
filming. We're not
Yeah,
filming.
I have no problem her shooting me calling.
Got it.
Problem.
Love it. Vicki, you guys live a very public life.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, what is one thing the world doesn't know about Ralph, but they should?
Ooh, what should they know? He's actually just a big teddy bear, honestly. And his passion, and he's extremely passionate about hunting. He's extremely passionate about making sure that people don't look at hunting in a bad light. There has been times hunting wise, like he's supposed to be doing the camera, or when he took us hog hunting with his mom, his passion comes through as maybe a bit aggressive.
Obsession.
But it's just his passion. And if you don't know that that's passion coming out, you can look at him, think that he's like cranky or insane or impatient, but it's just his passion. He wants us all to be successful. But at the end of the day, he's just a big teddy bear. You wouldn't think it, which he'll probably punch me later. Kidding. He doesn't. Just kidding. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ralph, Vicki's also a very public figure, and she's always been comfortable wearing her emotions on her sleeve. That said, what's one thing the world doesn't know about her, but they really should?
She's a wonderful mom.
Oh.
She is. I'm blessed to call her my wife and my best friend and my best hunting partner. I am.
Ditto. Except for husband now.
We've had a journey that most people couldn't fathom. We come from humble beginnings, no money, no nothing.
We've created
always,
our own destiny.
Yeah. I'm going to go back to that song, because if you just take those couple little words of the title, Till You Can't.
Yeah.
That could mean so much. You know what I mean? And, if you just take the moment and really and I'm going to say this to most guys, and a lot of the girls out there, Vicki's going to kick me under the table. The girls that are wearing all the tight clothes and having to think they got to show off what they got. And the same with the guys. Put that aside. Put aside the egotistical, thing that I've got to shoot the biggest, the baddest, and the toughest. I've got to shoot the furthest. I've got to do this. I've got to be the first one up on the mountaintop. Don't look at who's around you. and cherish that, man. You know what I mean? And don't compete with them on those type of levels. If anything, look at the competition you have with nature.
Yeah.
That's what you should be concerned about. You know what I mean? When you're going into the bush and you know it's going to be a wilderness setup, you know, there is no competition amongst you guys. The competition is all of you teaming up and making things happen and being safe so that you could return home to your family. So don't boast about how far you shot. Don't boast of how big the animal is. Boast about the adventure, the experience, and who you share it with. That to me is way more important.
That's beautiful. You guys have been such a treat to have on the show. I want you to do something that's going to be hard for you. I want you to be very selfish right now, very self-promoting. Where are all the places that we can follow you, read up on you, keep up with your adventures, give us everything? Where can we just totally know what's going on in your lives?
You don't want to go ahead and say the whole thing?
I don't know the whole thing.
Okay, we are on the Pursuit channel, which you can watch us numerous different times. To find out all of our times, you can go to our website, which is contentkingmedia.com. The Pursuit channel is free. You can get it right on Roku Live for free. There's all kinds of different streaming apps that they're on now. You have
I just want to put one thing
Plus.
Excuse me. And the only reason as you know, we were with another channel for a long time. We went to Pursuit, and I'll tell you one specific reason why. Pursuit channel is owned by hunters.
And
I don't have to say nothing else.
Nope. And it's free. You can watch us for free. But if you want to follow us on like social media, basically Vicki, right? Everything is at Ralph and Vicki. At so Ralph. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, what am I missing? TikTok. YouTube is the Choice Outdoors.
Okay.
Is our YouTube channel, and all of our shows, all of our episodes, all 25, almost 26 years of outdoor television is on our YouTube channel. So it's our YouTube channel, and it's at The Choice Outdoors. Yeah. So all of them are on there, plus random stuff that we have going on there too. But all of our social media is at Ralph and Vicki. Super easy to find.
At Ralph and Vicki. Well, Ralph, Vicki, thanks for being a friend. You're great Americans, great conservationists and hunters. Thanks for joining me in the Speakeasy. Thanks for joining me on the Secret Society of Western Big Game Hunting. God bless your families. God bless America. And thank you all to our listeners who are listening here on your favorite app or watching on YouTube. God bless you, and God bless your families.
Take care. God bless you guys.
The Secret Society of Western Big Game Hunting is brought to you by Zero Outfitter Fees and Diamond Outfitters. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.